For Creamer Media's Polity, I'm Sane Dlamini. Researcher and analyst Professor Raymond Suttner joins me to discuss ANC at 107, History, Values and Strategies. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you.
You say in your column that key elements of the past on which the ANC draws for legitimacy are contested because various versions of history allegedly or do combine mythology and reality. What are some of the examples of this?
Well, you know, the idea that the ANC, that MK was very powerful and invincible army of the people. Many of us had no idea of the power of MK, and we thought it could defeat the SADF on the battlefield. However, what I argue is even if there was an element of mythology, the mythology was a powerful force in the sense that it inspired us. It wasn't entirely mythology because they were able to do things like attack police stations, things like that. So that would be an obvious example, but there would be other ones about the ANC. Yeah.
You also said that to join the liberation struggle led then by the ANC was a source of pride. How would you describe it today? Well,
to join the ANC today is similar to joining a political party. Not everyone joins for the same reason. Some of them remain members because they still believe in the things that led them to join 20, 30, 40 years ago. But people who join today may join because they're business people and they think they will get contracts for joining the ANC. Or they join it, they look at all the parties and look at their policies and, as in Britain, say they think the DA or the ANC is one that will do what they want. Although it's very hard to understand how you can believe that, because there's a big disjuncture between what the ANC does and what's in its manifesto. So I think it's become a mixture of a conventional political party like you find in Western Europe and some people hanging on to the rhetoric of the struggle days.
In your column, you also say that you personally did not believe the allegations of torture in camps like Quatro in Angola. Why?
Well, there were a lot of allegations about the ANC that were untrue, made by enemies of the struggle, and I thought these were part of that. And I had no evidence inside the country. I wasn't in Angola. I still have never visited Angola. I visited other countries in Africa. So I had no personal knowledge. I had met no one who'd been there until much later. So I thought it's part of this general barrage of attacks on the ANC.
You've also mentioned that people like yourself credited the MK with a capacity that was not theirs, and they didn't possess the military power. What do you mean by that?
That was what I was saying. I was saying that MK did not have the capacity to defeat the SADF. But people like me who were not involved in military actions were not able to assess this. So we saw dramatic attacks by MK and we read into this a much greater capacity than they in fact had. And we did not realize that we were not in a position to compare that power with that of the SADF. It's only later, someone like Mandela was very realistic that we're not going to defeat them on the battlefield. We have to talk.
You also write that there are enduring qualities of the ANC that need to be recovered as part of a broader legacy of freedom. What are some of these?
Well, you know, the values that drew some of the giants of the struggle, the examples of their lives, the caring for other people, the campaigns like the Defiance campaign, where people went to jail, and in fact even before the Defiance campaign, women around 1911, if I remember, or 1913 in Bloemfontein, went down the street saying, "We are done with pleading, we now demand," and they were all locked up. And there's a lot of these examples. People were killed long before Sharpeville. People like Johannes and Corsi for a pass law demonstration. And any act of martyrdom or sacrifice is part of the legacy of the ANC. It's a legacy that is voiced. In other words, they say 100 years of selfless struggle, but it's been displaced by a hunger for wealth. And I think in the history of the ANC there exists more than one legacy. And we've got to retrieve the legacy of caring about other people, being willing to make sacrifices to ensure that everyone has a better life in South Africa. So that's the ANC that I thought I was part of and I was proud of, which is different from the ANC of today.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
That was Professor Raymond Suttner speaking to Crema Media's Polity about ANC at 107, History, Values and Strategies.